I'm so excited to be presenting this incredible award to a true original and my dearest and closest friend, I love her to pieces, the fantastic Sophie Okonedo. Now, I'm not going to read out a list of her brilliant films and collaborators. I just want to talk a little bit about Sophie, because who she is feeds directly into the work that we all know and admire so much. I've known her for over half my life, and she is just an extraordinary person. She has the biggest heart. She is filled with generosity and kindness and love and compassion and empathy. She has a wicked sense of humor. She's really mischievous. She's not afraid of vulnerability in herself and in other people. And she moves through the world in this incredibly open, unguarded way. So when you meet her, or if indeed you're fortunate enough to work with her, as lots of people in this room have, then your barriers just go down as a person, and you can connect with her on a very deep level very, very quickly. And it's really evident in her work. We're going to see some clips in a minute, just how unselfish she is with the other actors that she works with and the close connection that she makes. She loves working. She is really serious about it, but she's never precious or pretentious. She just gets on with the job and she has a ball. I've worked with her several times over the years. It's always been amazing. And it's like watching, when you work with her, I've said this to her before, an incredible jazz musician, the way she improvises, she riffs backwards and forwards over the text, she throws it up in the air, and when it lands, she absolutely unlocks the heart and the essence of whoever it is she's playing. And because she's so brilliantly creative and she naturally thinks outside the box, then the choices that she ends up making for her characters are always, they're just so surprising and brilliant, and she's incredible. I could talk about her for hours. These qualities, they enable her to shine a light on the humanity and the truth of the stories that she tells. And she makes work that is meaningful, it's impactful, it's often incredibly moving in a very authentic, unique way. And it makes her so deserving of this brilliant award for contributions to British film. Ladies and gentlemen, the brilliant Sophie Okonedo.
I've got a speech, just in case I completely lose my shit. I've written it down, but hopefully I can remember most of the things I want to say. Ben, thank you for saying all those lovely things. Right, I want to thank the Richard Harris family. I want to thank the British Independent Film Awards for giving me this. And I want to thank all the people that I have met, who have helped me and who I've learned so much from throughout my career. When my wonderful agents, Christine and Josh, called me up excitedly a few weeks ago to tell me that I was receiving this award, I was completely gobsmacked. My first thought was, well, that is amazing, incredible, of course. And then I thought, maybe it's a bit odd that they're giving it to me. Surely this is an award for someone who's been around for a very, very long time. And I thought, shit, that's me. I have been around for a very, very long time, but it just really doesn't feel like that. I often feel like a beginner. I have no set way of doing things. I don't really know how I'm going to approach each role that I take. I've never had any sort of career strategy or grand plan. I just love acting to my bones, and I just go where it feels right, for better and sometimes for worse. But when I first started, and you have to remember that all those many years ago when I started, the casting landscape was very different to how it is now. And back then, I think the thing that fueled me was I really wanted to challenge the stereotypical roles that I was being offered. I remember thinking acting is where I feel most connected, most expansive, most at home. So it was really confusing for me that I wasn't being given the opportunities to express that in a variety of roles. I left drama school at the start of the 90s, and I was in the same class, I don't know where she is, but I was in the same class as the amazing Marianne Jean-Baptiste. It was a very talented year. And when we left, there were almost no women of colour playing lead roles on film or in television in this country. And most of the stuff that was being made, I couldn't get an audition for. And when I look back, I'm not sure, I didn't really dwell on it. I didn't get depressed. I didn't even really talk about it that much. Sometimes I found it quite hard to articulate my feelings around it. And that's the way it had always been. I didn't know any different. And I'm going to use a really crap analogy, but it's like being born with tight shoes. You don't really realize they're tight until you take them off. What I did to remedy that is I changed track. And I went to where the most interesting roles were being offered. And at that time, that was in the theatre, where they had a more inclusive way of casting. All those years in the theatre, working with the best directors, best writers, best actors, many of whom I would work with later on in film, ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me, because it was there that I began to learn my craft of being an actor. I learned about stamina. I learned about the energy you need to tell a story. I learned about the importance of being part of a company, not to take myself too seriously, that nerves and being frightened, like I am now, are all part of it. And I also learnt how to create art on a very, very tight budget, all of which have been invaluable lessons when I started making independent movies. I love film. I always have, especially the kind of films that we're honouring tonight. So for me, to get an award from my peers, from my contribution, is incredibly moving for me. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.